Going live. Good morning and happy Mother's Day to any mothers in the audience or children of mothers. How are you, Steph?
I'm good. Good evening. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, Mother's Day is tomorrow for me, so I have some time.
Good. Yes, it gets a little confusing. I'm pretty sure Mother's Day is the same everywhere. Father's Day does vary country to country. Don't know why they do that, but
Oh,
um, I have my call with my mum after this. Nice to be closer in time zone now. So we're only 2 hours apart from Australia here in Hong Kong. So if you haven't, if you're able to, hope everyone is can get on a call or get face to face and see their mum. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Hi Juan, I miss you, buddy. Can't wait to see you soon. Hi Alex, Jerry, Marcialano, Sean, Dinesh with a lot of retracted messages. Thanks for joining us, folks. Ah, well, let's see. So today we're going through and looking at your cinematic themed images. We had quite a few entries. I've included all the ones that just followed the steps without doing any culling based on whether I think they are really cinematic or not. There were, however, some who still misnamed the files and that kind of thing. There were a few that were way under the size we requested, but they'll still look okay, so I've included those ones. Before we jump into it, housekeeping. For once, I've actually figured this out. So next week, our theme is going to be fitness, so you can get your shots in there. For those who are watching,
yeah.
please don't get confused. Now that I'm in Hong Kong, I have been saying the live show is on Saturdays and you've got until Saturday to enter your shots. I'm just going to change it to where I am. I think enough of the regulars know that I'm now in Hong Kong. So when the website says it's on Sundays, please note we're still intending it to be this time. For me, this is 10 a.m. Sunday and I believe 10 p.m. For Steph. Is it 10 or 11 there?
It's 10 p.m.
She looks so fresh faced, whether it's 4 p.m. or 10 p.m. She's exhausted all the time.
Yeah, I just hide it
uh,
very well. Energy.
Woo. Um, so I hope you guys are all well. Let me know if you've been out shooting, what you're up to, how you're doing, basically. And let's jump on into this. So the reason I chose cinematic, so there's two. One is we have the new Kill Bill course out, and it's a shameless little cross promotion so that I can keep mentioning that course and see if you guys want to pick up the download. The other one is I am, before starting a YouTube channel, absolute massive film nerd. To be honest, I have fallen off a little bit in the last few years with being, I tell myself, too busy with work, but I just haven't made time to keep up with film. But my degree was in film studies. I have or had, they're back at my parents now, a collection of a few thousand movies that I've bought and watched over the years as DVDs. I consider them my textbooks, but I also just kind of hoarded. But anyway, so through to like the early to mid 2000s, I have a pretty solid film knowledge and like almost photographic memory of scenes and that kind of thing. So I just love it. And I love this as a genre of photography. One thing when you're shooting a cinematic shot, so I'm not going to pigeonhole how we do this today. It could be that, like ours, that it's been. Let me just switch to the shot because I actually included one here that I cropped this intentionally. You may think, our photos are normally 4 by 3. If we make it a bit wider or even a 16 by 9, that we're into film kind of territory in terms of the aspect ratio, which makes it feel more cinematic. Kill Bill, for example, was presented in a ratio of 2.39 to 1. So way wider than 16 by 9. So way wider, way skinnier. So if you're going for a shot that's going to really look like a frame from a movie, firstly, it's not going to be portrait oriented, but think about, how I think it's cool. I'm not going to penalize people if you don't do this, but I think it's cool to think about. So if I'm kind of doing something that's inspired by a Western, then what kind of aspect ratio were they doing? How did they tend to film those? What kind of focal lengths did they tend to use? And it's cool to put a whole concept together rather than just putting a cowboy hat on a tattoo model that doesn't really tell a cowboy story. Maybe it's a Quentin Tarantino remake of a cowboy movie or something. Anyway, Steph, what's your favorite genre of films?
I mean, I feel like everybody would kind of guess this, but I love martial arts more
Romance.
so like
Oh, really?
ah, gosh. I mean,
Hmm.
okay, I like comedy. I love comedy. But I really like martial arts movies. It's funny because today I actually had a screening on our Discord, just open to the public, and we were watching Jet Li's The Legend or Fang Sayuk, and it's like one of my favorite like martial arts films like ever, just because it's funny, but it has great action, but then it's also like serious at times, and yeah, I don't know. I just like martial arts films. It's kind of obvious. Like old
So,
80s, like Hong Kong action. 80s and
so can I
90s.
ask a logistics question? And I'm not meaning to
Sure.
put you in it. If the answer is you don't know, that's fine. How does it work with Discord? So you can stream a movie to people. Do they have, is it like YouTube, how they have rights to music and that kind of thing to be able to broadcast it, or it's just,
It's
it works. So that's it.
it's think of it kind of like having it's I think they call it on Discord a watch party. So it's just you watch it with your friends. So you just stream it and anybody can view it, but you don't own any of it. It's more like if you were going to watch a movie with your friends and family, it's basically like that. And because of the pandemic, they actually expanded the number of people that can actually watch with you.
Okay.
So it was nice. Everybody like tuned in, and I don't like to do like a streaming commentary because I don't like having somebody like talk about the film, even though
Mm.
some people have asked us because we do make like action films to like do
So do you just
commentaries on
watch
it,
it
but I'm like,
all
ugh,
the way through, or then do you,
yeah.
this would be a little bit too nerdy and film schooly, but like stop part way through to discuss, like take a break
Um
halfway to talk about the first half or that kind of thing?
We watch it all the way through, but there is like a separate like I guess a Discord chat, so we would actually like make comments and talk to each other while we're watching the films, or like
Hmm.
we'll just point out certain things. This because The Legend was actually a good movie, there wasn't too much drama going on, but when we watched Jujitsu, it was a struggle. Everybody was like freaking out
Ah,
and
of
just
course. So
questioning
because
what
it's
is going
Discord,
on.
there is the chat. You're able to still
Yeah.
communicate. It's just that you don't need to narrate it. Gotcha. I'm thinking
Yeah.
back to when we did like film days, like book club, movie club type thing, where you'd get 10 people to sit around an old school television
Mhm.
in person. Crazy idea. Um, and the idea of actually sharing your thoughts midway through the movie, you'd get probably kicked. So, yeah, typing is a nice way of doing it.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Vamshi is asking, please explain briefly what is a cinematic photo. So, cinema obviously is a film, a motion picture. So it could be that it's not limited to this. I want to, so you could have a shot taken in a cinema, and I would count that as cinematic or outside a cinema. You could be recreating a particular film or a frame from a movie, that kind of thing. You could have something inspired by, so that, if there's a really obvious and famous outfit. Like if you have someone as Edward Scissorhands, then obviously that's a film reference. Or it could be just the overall atmosphere. So like film noir is a really commonly done photo style that's inspired by a genre of filmmaking. So, or it could just be that there's something about the shot that feels like a frame from a movie or a movie poster, that kind of thing, that uh, reminds you of a motion picture. So like I said, I haven't disqualified anyone for not making the grade, in my opinion. It's only if they didn't enter the file correctly. So let's now jump in. And I should say, Kill Bill has been up our shoot on pre-sale for a week. It is 10 past 10 now, and at 12 my time is when it goes live. So you've got almost 2 hours to grab the pre-sale, and then it will go up in price and it'll be available to stream and download immediately. So we have these images organized by the file name, so the author's name. Now, this is one, Adam Anderson. I don't get a cinematic vibe from this unless we're talking uh, David Attenborough, although I don't know that he's ever had a theatrical release. Steph, am I missing something?
I think like this could be a still from like a National Geographic type of like nature film.
But do
I
have
don't,
they been ever shown in a cinema?
not really. I don't think so, unless it's this kind of like a B-roll shot. I that's what I would think. But it
Unless
is
he's
a
just
nice
think,
image.
I agree with that. Unless he's thinking it just, use your creative mind to see it as the hero poking out from the pole in a gunfight or something. But for me, it's a bit
Mhm,
of a step too far. Beautiful bird picture. I love. I'd like to know more about what the bird is. I think it's really nicely taken. I think the composition's great.
mhm.
I don't, however, get a cinematic vibe from it personally at all. Um, Alex Mateo. So let's go back to our normal, if you don't mind, Steph. I'll look at a couple, then you look at a couple, but feel free to jump in.
Yeah.
It's good if you have a strong opinion on anything. So, first thing, when I looked at this on the wide shot, it looks a little bit like Rosario Dawson, who I think Juan and I had a talk about in the past. Um, it doesn't spring to mind as a particular cinematic, like remind me of a particular shot, particular film. Sorry, I'm losing what I'm trying to say here. I'm thinking like what the next thing I want to say is, and then not losing the ability to speak. What kind of the details in the background does? There's things about it that definitely feel filmic to me, but it's rare unless it's part of the scene that the star is trying to seduce someone. You don't have people over posing so wildly in a movie at you wouldn't have that kind of a pose. So if she were like waking up on the sofa of some flop house where she just went on a bender the night before, that's fine. But the mix of glamour and everything, I can't think of a film reference that kind of reminds me of that kind of a shot. But I think it definitely has potential. The location does. The tattoos, or the fake tattoos, I don't know if they're real, on her chest are beautiful. I think you could work this to be a boudoir shot, but for me, again, it doesn't quite hit cinematic. Do you have any thoughts on this one, Steph, or her pose? I always like to get your posing thoughts.
Um, I mean, okay, so I feel like this image could possibly use as like a promotional image for a film, but I don't really like get cinematic. I think posing wise, it would be nice if like her face was a little bit more angled towards the camera just because of that like harsh light on her face, and then
Hmm.
having that elbow that's right in front of her face more outwards instead, because the elbow just kind of covers like
Yeah,
her neck and her shoulder and well, her clavicle and whatnot. And I just feel like it's just stronger with a outward elbow.
yeah. And with a shot like this, where it is kind of going for a sensual energy, this could be my personal uh, preferences for women speaking out, but I think showing the open neck is a lot more alluring than having it closed off to the camera. One other thing, and this is just a general tip to you, Alex, and to anyone else, whether you're shooting someone with big, small, large, uh, natural or enhanced breasts, whatever, if you are doing this kind of a shoot, it's worth getting some, if this is what you and the model have agreed to, that are exposed, partly covered, and fully covered. So here she's posed, but her nipple was showing, and you've had to blur it. You don't really have to for my channel, but I appreciate you doing that. It may stop us getting demonetized. But if you're going for heavily posed shots like this, I would just have her completely cover the nipple for some, so then those platforms that are a bit sensitive about that kind of thing will allow it through without you having to add the blur. Charles Young, cinematic in New York City. So the guy with the bow tie looks like a film critic, so that works. Um, so this is honestly, it's just I don't know what to say, how to say this in a way that doesn't sound insulting. It's kind of just a snapshot in that this is this kind of scene that you see a lot in New York, but it is also the kind of scene that you see a lot in films, and it really does have kind of a cinematic feel to me for that reason. It could just be nostalgic and the fact that I'm planning a trip back to New York soon. But yeah, I do get a cinematic vibe from this, and the guy on the right of frame, I think, makes the shot. Without that, it's just a snapshot with him there. I feel like there's a story developing, um, and that bow tie and the pretzel. Something about that guy. A guy wearing a bow tie shouldn't eat a giant pretzel. It just doesn't work. He's like the bumbling drug chemist, and then the other two guys are his protection and assassin or something like that. Late Stevens, quit hogging all the genius. You always enter these great shots. So that's a pretty cool way of using a rock window as your frame. You know, you get the frame finder that people will use on set to block out shots. Here, you just need to carry around a big stone wall. Um, it certainly reminds me of some of the, sweeping epic tales that were kind of being made in the 30s, 40s, and 50s with that expansive, that's kind of like the Australian Western Front. Um, Weird fringing you've got going on there. It's purple fringing all around the box, like probably due to the lighting. Um, yeah, it's nice that I think the aspect ratio is at a pretty nice little touch. And then shall we switch to your turn here, Steph? And I should have said if anyone has questions, please send them in, and Juan will send them through to me. Steph,
My
Craig
turn?
Eccles,
Okay,
please.
cool. Um, okay, I do like the smoke effect. I think that you're trying to get somewhere. I know like a lot of films, it's very, very rare for I guess the actors to actually look into camera unless it's like a commercial type of work. Um, Cinematic? I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of just I think like this week's theme is actually quite difficult,
Mm.
right? Like it's hard to get like cinematic. Um I feel like if there was like more to the scene rather than just her and this blinding light and fog, then maybe. But yeah, great eye
It,
contact for like a portrait.
it reminds me of like a late 80s, early 90s, kind of like a John Hughes romance slash comedy. Um, and in those kind of scenes that they do sometimes grab eye contact as well. But um, yeah, I agree with everything Steph said. Daniel Oeda, Stephanie.
Okay, actually, this one feels very cinematic to me. I like the black bars that you have because it's like as if you just took a screenshot from like I guess a film. Um, I feel like there's just more to the story here. Like I can kind of already see like this specific scene. It's like a dolly shot revealing from behind the rock, just focusing
Nerd
on like
alert!
the two I'm just saying the two gentlemen in the back, and it's like you just hear like a voiceover of like them two, like this dialogue of them talking. Um, so yeah, pick for me. I think the image is really nice. It would be nice if it had like a lower angle just so we could see like the sky, like the horizon a little bit, but I think
Sorry,
that
I
this
think I
works.
have this set to show unpicked, and then when I hit pick, it disappeared. Okay, there we go. I think the framing up a little bit would be good, but it's the ocean in cinema certainly has a foreboding kind of presence. So this looks like a dark scene from like a Von Trier film or something. Dante Padre. Now we had discussed about potentially doing cosplay as a theme, and you talked me out of it. But this kind of feels a little cosplay. Is she someone?
It is a cosplay. This is a character from My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero. It's a really good anime. Nearly cried watching the first season. I think uh it doesn't really scream cinematic to me just cuz I don't know. There's just something about it. Plus, there's like a haloing effect around her too, and I know the character that doesn't necessarily happen. The character is Yuraka, I think, and she can float. It would be really cool if she was actually in the air. Then it'll give me more of like her story, and it plays with the whole idea of her as a character.
Mm,
Uh,
great feedback.
yeah, I think just playing around with like because you already have her like dressed up as the character, actually putting her to like play the role a little bit more would have helped this image to kind of come off a little bit more cinematic.
So see how far you want to take it, but the point that Steph just touched on there, I think is really important if you're going for a themed shoot. For us, we, painted Steph from her ankles to her neck, so that was a bigger investment than putting a wig on, for example. But once you've gone to the effort to set up a shoot, get the costume and everything ready, maybe you did, but shoot the shit out of it. Shoot every
Yeah.
variation you can think of. Shoot it with lights, without lights on, different kinds of backgrounds, shoot 100 variations, and then at the end of the Kill Bill shoot I show you how I really easily cut her out, and then you could put her into a different background that might make more sense, or that you could have her kind of levitating a few inches off the ground if that works with the
Yeah.
story. I've not seen this one. Okay, let's do one or two more for Steph. It's good.
It's
Oh,
really
who's a little
good.
monkey? Mr.
Oh,
Werner.
hello.
Warner. Warner.
Ooh. I like the black and white, a very noir type of film. Um, I like this one. I just kind of wish it was in better focus. Is it in focus? It looks like
I
maybe,
think she's a little soft. Um,
yeah, just a little soft. Oh, um,
I
yeah,
think it's caught just his right temple.
okay.
She.
I think I would just like to see more of the actual like scene, like a wider shot. When I think cinematic, I always kind of think like just more story in terms of like the environment. So it's
That's a
like just to
really good
tie
point.
in
Yeah,
like
that's
what's going
probably
on.
a great extra clarification for what was his name? Sorry, Bamshi. Storytelling is also an important part of cinematic images. I should have thought of that. So I kind of see this as like if you were doing kind of a spoof. This is after a big fight scene with Godzilla. Kong's pulled aside by the set photographer to grab a couple of tight
Oh,
headshots. The setting sun's giving us great light. Kong, can I just get you for a couple of seconds? I'm on my way to the trailer. Chick. And that's why it was
yeah,
so
like
big
this
a
would be a good
focus.
movie poster.
Mm, there you go. One more for you, Steph. Mr. David Moore, send in your questions, folks, and we'll pop out to answer them after this.
Ooh. I think it's a little grainy, but actually kind of like it. I'll be honest, at first, the stones on the bottom like kind of freaked me out. I was like, what is that?
Emerging.
I thought it was like bodies. So I was like, whoa, that's creepy. But now I know that they're just stones. It's now I know it's safe. Um, I feel like this could be a cinematic, like could be considered a cinematic shot. Like I could see this as this like one of the B-roll shots just to kind of introduce the location or like
Mm.
the set of where the story is going to take place.
I don't know
Um,
if Alex is going to be typing this as I say it, but this reminds me of like an establishing shot from Wicker Man. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Wicker Man.
yeah.
Um, Nice. So far we only have one pick. I'm gonna go on a pick frenzy soon. I'm just getting my mojo.
Okay.
So let me switch back and see. Did we get any other questions coming in? Hey Sean, nice to see you. Hi Tony. I'm sorry I don't read Chinese script. What is that? Cantonese? I can't read it. I'm sorry. Um, I don't see questions coming through here really. Let me ask, who here is in the States? Because I'm hopefully going to be getting back soon for a little fun and games. Oh, now my window is showing that there's a playback error. Can I just check in the chat? Is everyone seeing it? I've never seen this before. In the preview window, it's saying An error occurred. Please try again later. But that could be just my browser. So if I refresh the window, it may actually screw things up. So please, people, throw in the chat if you're actually still seeing and hearing us, because I don't know if I'm screaming into the void.
We'll just have a conversation by ourselves. What a great
Okay.
stream.
How's Lucky Steph? Miss you and Timmy.
He's good. He's sleeping somewhere, and he's just so adorable.
How's the
God.
new bed frame?
Yeah, we like leveled up. We're not sleeping on the floor anymore. We have a
Look at
nice
you.
bed
You're
frame.
living like second year
I
university
know.
students now.
Oh
Boom.
my God. It's nice. It's like weird how close we are to the ceiling now, I guess. Even though it's only probably like a foot and a
their,
half off the
their
ground.
their apartment has 4 foot
Like,
ceiling, so
what?
it's really quite awkward. It was built for a little family.
But it's just, I don't know. Like, we were so used to sleeping on a mattress on the floor, and then now we have a bed frame with a mattress on top. It's it's really close. We like lie down the first time, we're like, there's something weird with this. Like this isn't right. Like maybe we should just sleep on the floor, take the
Have
mattress
you
off, and just
built
put
a
it on the
little ramp or something so Lucky's still able to crawl up on bed?
No, it's more so he just like looks at us and then we have to like bend over, which feels so far away, and then
Get
pick him up.
vertigo.
Like, jeez, it's crazy. But we did make him like a little house, and we're thinking like maybe we should build him a new like cardboard home just because he keeps like
Mhm.
I guess it seems like he's starting to break it just because he leans on the walls and they're not fortified.
You
Yeah.
might lose like calf or hamstring strength because you're no longer like getting yourself up off the floor every day, unless you're
Oh my
actually like
God, I hope
working out.
not.
Because when I
No.
sleep on the floor, not on a bed, first thing in the morning, I am like, oh God, this is kind of difficult to get up again. Like I need 5 seconds to
Actually,
prime my muscles.
speaking of adulting, I just saw that Sean posted, "Careful, you're coming close to being grown-ups." I posted in Discord like hours ago that I spent like 30 minutes trying to fold a fitted sheet.
Oh,
I
don't fold
followed
them.
a YouTube
Mistake.
video, and this woman's like, folding a fitted sheet is probably like one of the hardest challenges you'll have in your
In your
lifetime.
adult life.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that is really funny that she says that." After 30 minutes, I'm like, "Where is the other corner? Where's the third corner that I'm supposed to grab?" And I still can't figure it out. I don't
The
know how
thing
to fold
is,
a fitted sheet.
real adults only have one fitted sheet, and you just wash it in the morning. It's dry by the evening, and it goes back on the bed. When it gets ruined, you get a new one. No, you don't store
This
fitted sheets.
this
And
video
anyone
has
who irons
21
their
million
sheets has mental
views.
illness. Yes.
21 million views. Crazy.
Okay, so
So
I'm
yeah.
glad we've covered your adulting and bed sheets, both critical topics for the art of cinematography.
Oh yeah.
Um, Thank you all for confirming that you're hearing us. You did, some people had some issues. If you're having sync issues or whatnot, please hit refresh. Sometimes I don't want to sound like I've drunk the Kool-Aid, but Google's pretty powerful with their servers. So generally it's going okay. And even if the stream has been a bit funky, they'll fix it. So the saved one is okay generally. But so it seems like you're hearing us. So I'm not going to touch anything. So let's jump back in and look at some more images. And I would really encourage, we have a chat here that pipes up when we ask a question. I would love for you guys to share your thoughts. So this image is by David Moore of The Lighthouse. If you have some thoughts on the image, then please chime in. Don't save your comments just for fitted sheet discussions. This isn't here for Steph and I to lecture you guys. It's for a conversation amongst us all. Now, David Sinclair has gone the
Oh,
definitely a movie poster route, having put text and everything on there. Um, okay, I'm going to try and ignore the text for now and just look at the image. Just the image, I think, works fine. It's all as it is. It kind of works, I guess, because it's stone grinding. It's not. So it is going to be just a fine dust. So it's not that there should be any kind of sharpness to that. Um, I feel like if somebody, again, I don't mean to sound condescending, but if somebody's into stone work or grinding, then this could be something really interesting. I don't know anything about that world, so for me, it's I don't know, maybe he's using some awesome grinder or that's an amazing rock or something. But as an image, I think it's fine. It's a craftsman. My personal little bugbear, if you're doing it as a poster, I always think it looks really hokey to have multiple fonts right together. I think it looks like something done by a kid. So having it like capitals D, little letters stone, capitals grinder, totally different font, dust to dust. It feels very homemade, generally sticking within one font family, and you can use different variations of the same font if needs be. For a header and a subheader works, but the grinder here is very emphasized, which in modern America has its own connotations. Any thoughts, Steph?
Um, I like
The
the
Stone
traits you're
Grinder
right.
would actually be a great gay superhero name. Sorry, go ahead.
I think I would like to see more of like the stone itself being grinded.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, that'll be the spin-off. That'll be the follow-up, like the life of the stone that on its way to getting
Oh
to
my
the desk. Thank you for sharing your feedback on the images, Alex. A holy shit, Giles. Ouch. Um, wow. Okay, that's a lot to drink in. Um, yes. One thing is generally movies aren't, well, actually everything's CGI now, but generally movies aren't that over processed. But as a still, I appreciate we're going to study it, so you do push or everything up to 11. Um, I think there's little suggestions that I would make, but overall, I think this is a really powerful and making my skin crawl image. So, if for nothing else, that gets a pick. That's the theme of it. Um, I don't know if, again, if this is a cosplay based on a particular faceless nun nurse with cleavage and a machete that she's using as a dagger, but it's freaking me the hell out. Any thoughts on that one, Steph?
Yeah. No, I'm good. It's freaky. Good job. Good job on the freakiness.
Um, I think this could, however, work really cool as a wide angle shot landscape as well, if you wanted to get even more of that kind of an atmosphere and have them really leaning in over the camera. Giuseppe. Okay, so that's an interesting old Lancer. Um, to be honest, it looks like a grab shot. She's looking at the photographer on the left, and you managed to grab one as well. Um, that I don't know. I mean, it could be a 1920s mob funeral that someone grabbed a photo of one of the attendees going to it. Um, but for me, it kind of looks like a bit of a rushed grab shot. I get with the cars bumper to bumper, you might have wanted that tight crop to get them out, but then cropping the wheel off and then having all the headroom, it seems a little bit haphazard. Sweet car though. Jim Nordstrom. I'll talk on the lighting aspect, and if you want to add to the posing stuff or lighting as well. Um, I like how the concept's coming together. I always assume when I see that kind of windmill, it's Australia, but I'm realizing that those windmills are all over the world, so I don't know where this is taken. She looks more of a Northern Hemisphere Maleficent witch, I must say. Um, the
Oh,
lighting for
you're
me,
right. Good
I've
job.
been practicing. Um, the lighting for me looks a bit accidental. I feel like it's a little bit late in the day. It's a bare flash. It's got loads of spill. I think it could be a lot more powerful if it were just hitting her, and it's kind of the angle is a bit low going directly straight on, so it looks kind of like car headlights if that's what you were going for. Um, and then having her stacked up on the house, we kind of lose the start of the horns. So doesn't quite work. There's that gap to the right of the house. I think you could have put the setting sun right behind her, dropped your flash power a whole lot, and gotten a lot more color out of the sky and kind of crafted a little bit more. What do you think about her left hand, Steph? Where should that be?
I think it should be a little bit further back behind her because she's already wearing black. It just kind of like becomes a black blob in a way. So just
Blackety,
having
blackety, black,
the
black.
separation from like your arm and then the rest of your body will help. And yeah, I was going to say something like you have this beautiful like bright spot to the right that you could have just kind of like practically silhouetted her. That would have been really cool.
Nice. But love that you're putting together a concept like that, Jim. Um, the other thing I'd say, I don't know that that character and that scene actually vibe that well together. Um, anyway, your one, Steph, Jonathan Salgado. Oh, that's my cousin. That's
Ooh.
Hermione.
Um, I actually really like this. I think the focus is unfortunately on her hand instead of like her face,
Mm,
but I would give this a pick. I think it would be really cool if we could actually see a little bit more of her, like more defined, because the robe kind of matches the, I guess, the cloth backdrop, it looks like.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I like it. And I feel like this does give like some sort of a cinematic feel for me. So pick.
Agree. And so this is a 10-second exposure. The subject has been flashed in at the end, the wand. I think there was more wand action if we had more space to the top left that could have, maybe it would have made it too busy. I don't know. But this kind of shows even here, I think Steph's right. The right hand light is a little bit missed in its direction and the focus is a little bit missed, but how keeping things simple can work well. This is simply a light painting shot, probably shot in a living room with a black curtain hung up. See, that's how you store your fitted sheet when you're not using it. Rather than folding it, you just hang it up or tuck it around a wall.
How?
And then the low vantage point kind of works. You just cut like the edge of the wall so then you can tuck it around and just give yourself a feature wall made of
Yes,
cotton.
okay. Actually, that is
Now,
kind of creative.
Steph, because I make you use weapons that you obviously don't know how to use all the time, maybe you should comment on this one.
Okay. I am not a weapons user, but I know a little bit about it, at least like how to hold it. Um, I think with this, the pose you with nunchucks, you don't actually have to extend your arm that straight. And plus, with any martial arts, you never want to lock your elbows because you can break them. Keeping your wrist straight also is pretty key too. I feel like she could have gone with a more simpler pose with this by just holding the two nunchucks together instead. Um, and- but in terms of cinematic, I'm not really getting cinematic, honestly, with this. It is a concept like shot, but I don't get cinema.
I hear what you mean. I guess it's again maybe a poster, or maybe it's inspired by a particular character, or it could just be we have this nice dress or whatever, and then they've obviously gone to the effort. Her nails kind of match her outfit, maybe not match an actual femme fatale, but there's so many movie versions of characters where they are just all sexy and glamorous and improbably
Yeah.
dressed, and then suddenly, bam, like that.
Yeah.
Sorry to scare you guys at home. I know I'm terrifying. What do you think about this one and Mr. Silverman?
uh thinking. I feel like this could be kind of like one of those at-home videos, like oh my God, what is that movie that like went really big? Paranormal Activity, except with a gun.
Like a snuff
But that's
film.
like, yeah, it's like just with like the video camera type of thing. It's just investigators, they have like the camcorders and just recording. Like that's the feel that I get with this.
Hmm.
I felt like there should have been something at the doorway though. That way it gives like reason for her to like turn around. Um,
So, yeah, something we haven't seen so far. If this were higher, wider, and even poorer quality, it could feel kind of like a surveillance camera, and that I can see as a scene. They often will cut to a an odd
yeah.
camera angle as someone runs down the back alley or runs down the hallway to get that kind of a vantage point. One more here, and wrong screen. One more here, and then we'll jump back for some questions if we have any. Mozid, did you want to have thoughts on this one first, Steph?
Ooh, this one I get Instagram feels. Immediately, like that's my first like thought is like just an Instagram feel just because of the coloring. I know, oh my God, it's like, is it To All the Boys I've Loved or something? They have like the same kind of similar color palette in that film. Uh, I think this one has potential though if it was like framed landscape and then
Yeah,
more
I
tailored.
haven't seen the All the Boys Steph Has Loved movie, but I feel like there's great potential here, but honestly, I don't think this shot works. Sorry, Mo, you've ended so many great shots in the past, but the concrete on the ground, the people in the foreground, the power lines in the top right, it's a mess. The light on her is beautiful. Her dress, her pose, her messy hair, that small part of the frame there teamed up with an epic landscape spreading out, or even just like this kind of a really tight crop in, I think
Yeah, I was gonna say
there's
they
a shot.
crop it in. Yeah.
That is a great shot. This has kind of got um, a late 20s Eat, Pray, Love vibe to it rather than this shot looks like we've pulled a train out of the depot for a 1 day tour around the local train track that hasn't been used in 5 years kind of vibe. Um, yeah, but the light on her and the reflection in the window, there's definitely potential here. So I can see why you snapped it, Mo. And Neto. Neto, I said would go out after one, but let's just do this one anyway. Neto always has a really interesting color palette, which does lend itself to a cinematic kind of vibe. This, if you don't remember, Steph, is this guy with the self portrait wearing the neon and black uh, beanie cover.
Oh.
There is something about this, and this definitely does feel like it has kind of a look that would be attributable to a particular director. And the chairs are weird as heck as well, especially the red one. It looks like a glitch in the Matrix. Um,
Yeah.
I think if we're trying to make it cinematic type vibe, though, probably it's a bit too portrait. You could maybe at least bring in to the first light fitting kind of gets it closer, although I'm ruining it by cropping it too much, but I'm just seeing would it work as a more of a landscape type shot, kind of. There's not a lot to it, but as an establishing, like as a, I don't know, as a frame from a movie, I can kind of see it. And yeah, it's kind of got a 2035 shining vibe to it. Did we have any questions? I don't really want to jump out if we don't even have a question to answer. I want to know, how is Juan? Juan,
Yeah,
let us
Juan,
know
how you
what's
doing?
going on. How you doing, bro? Um, I don't see questions flowing through at a great speed. Benjamin Downs is saying, "G'day, Matt and crew. G'day, mate. It's his first time catching a live stream, so thank you for joining us. That's
What?
great." Um, I don't see any other questions coming through. What have you guys been shooting? Have you been out this year to shoot? Um, what would you
That's
like
a
to
good
see from
question.
us in the future ones? Do you have any suggestions for later themes? Next week's going to be fitness. Let's get this chat moving.
Yeah.
But if we have nothing else, then let's just jump back in and take a look at some more pictures, I guess. My video is still frozen. I'm glad that it's actually working. Now, Oliver Lane, this definitely has some vibes to it. Now, he had a note in his um, email that he wanted to check if this counted because he shot it at like a workshop type thing. I think that is fine. But, who's to know? You were just honest about it. This was some kind of a Nikon workshop at a steam train factory or something like that, hence all the steam. Um, I mean, this is definitely, it may be a matter of they put everything together and you just click the button, but at the end of the day, we can't really judge that aspect of it. This definitely does speak to being a cinematic image. I do think you've kind of focused on the girder on the left hand side of the frame rather than the guys. I think having his badge as foreman in perfect focus would be strong. But I'm going to give that a pick, even though it was a workshop shot. I think it a workshop shot. I think it's pretty great. What do you think of this one, Steph? Ryan Ho.
Um, oh, interesting. That is
Mm,
trippy. I mean, this looks like a transition between one scene into the next scene.
mm.
Um,
Or like something
yeah,
from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where like reality and a previous version or a memory are interacting with each other.
yeah. I think that that's a really cool concept, though. It is really trippy to look at.
So this is
I like the,
a double exposure. He's taken two shots of the Hong Kong harbor and kind of overlaid them. It's certainly an interesting one. It's kind of a different take on a day to night because we've got the setting sun in one of the shots, and then the lighting doesn't match the left hand side of the frame. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I love Victoria Harbour, so happy to see it entered. Um, I saw a question here from Alex. I'm just going to answer it now. Did you think about trying wake surfing from the last video with Honey? Um, that's a very mean-spirited question because I would crash and hurt myself. Um, I had considered it. I had swimming shorts with me, but as I said in that video, if you made it all the way to the end, my MO now for flying drones is I'm not giving anyone or anything attention other than the drone. Like 100% of my attention is on the screen. I'm not showing you if I'm getting a great shot. I'm not answering you other than later or go away. I was such a jerk to all the kids who were coming up to me wanting to see the screen, just saying no, and that I would call their parents if they didn't go away. Because that's every time I've crashed a drone, it's been at those kind of moments where I'm not focused on what I'm doing. So my only goal really was to get as much of Honey and her friend doing the wakeboarding. We only had the boat for 2 hours. And if there was time afterwards, I considered it. But then, to be honest, it got to like half an hour left. I saw how hard it was, even for them being really fit. And I wasn't wearing my swimming shorts. So I thought, this is a convenient excuse not to. But I might do it again, but probably not for YouTube. Thanks for asking. That was a fun video though. And the new controller is really cool. I don't know if you saw the video, Steph, but I got the new one with the built-in screen controller.
yeah, I saw it and I was like, that is awesome.
I think it's true compared to the new one. It does lag a little bit more because this has the OcuSync 3 with four antennas, and this is for the old one, but it should be compatible with the drone you guys have. Um,
Huh.
but really nice to not have to, you're not getting phone pop-ups and stuff interrupting your
Yeah.
flying, which was the other reason that I wanted it. Thanos, one of our winners from last week, with his self-portrait of himself taking a portrait of someone else or something. It was like him with the trigger and everything. Um, I think the out of focus guy really works here. If it were a sharply defined one, in some, this reminds me of like, even though this obviously isn't, but it reminds me of a Woody Allen film where the city is often the main character in the film rather than one of the people. So here it's something to do with I don't know, Venice or London or wherever it is, and this is a guy that just happens to be passing through there. I'm going to give that a
Is he
tick. That
smoking a
does.
cigar?
Maybe, or he has a bullet hole straight through his trachea. Same thing.
Oh, same thing. Okay.
Anything you wanted to add on that one, Steph?
I I think it's cool. I mean, I like it. I don't know where it is, but I like it.
We could do some detective work and find where Nick's Corner
Yeah.
Cafe is. Thomas Santos Westberg. This looks like
Ooh.
Norway or something. Um, it's a beautiful shot. I think if it were, well, I wonder how much is in the clouds. I feel like if it had a more dramatic and foreboding kind of sky, that could be something. So let's see what happens if we pull in a. Oh, what do you think of that? Oh, I'm overdoing it to make sure that it is apparent what I'm doing on YouTube, but that's bringing in some a little bit of loveliness now. So there is some cool drama in the clouds that we can bring up here. Oh, that's too much, but okay, so this is nastily done and I'm leaving halos, but um, there's a little before and after. There is loads of detail in the clouds there if you wanted to bring that out. Obviously, spend more than 6 seconds on it. Um, yeah, for me, this is like a really cool travel shot. I don't get a. Well, no, what was that movie? There's the. This actually reminds me of a scene, although it's completely wrong landscape, from what was it? There's a movie about an Indian family relocating to France, and the kid is an amazing chef, and then he ends up becoming like a world famous chef, and it's got really famous Helen Mirren, I think, as the French chef. And this reminds me of the place where the family's car broke down whilst they were transporting their spices to their new place. I don't know why, but that just popped to my head. Um, Sorry, tangent. But nice shot, Thomas. I want to visit there. It doesn't remind me, it doesn't really feel super cinematic, though. Okay, so we have a few questions coming in. Why don't we jump out and take a look at them? Okay, reminder if you have any questions for Steph, folks. So, um, Jerry Dalton, does enlarging an image make it darker? Uh, you're going to have to give me a bit more. Are you talking about using a traditional film enlarger in a dark room and then trying to make a bigger print? Will that make it darker, or do you mean like just increasing the size artificially in Photoshop? Short answer, no. You just have to do it right if you're talking about in a dark room. Um, Scowler Jace asking Cinebloom filters, yay or nay? Never heard of them. I'm sorry, Steph. Have you guys ever heard of or used Cinebloom filters?
I don't do editing, but I'm sure Joey uses it. I don't know.
I
He
wasn't sure.
he
It may
edits
be
all of our
editing
stuff.
or it may be a filter for the lens. I'm not sure which one it is. Good point. Um, Jerry
Oh,
Dalton,
I think it's a
Matt,
filter for the lens, actually.
boom, nailed it. Ha,
Yeah.
you're wrong. I was trying to be like building bridges and stuff, but no, I was right. You were wrong in your face. Jerry Dalton, do you have a gallery of your work at home, Matt? Do you recommend that? I'm not going to recommend what you should do in your home. I have a couple of things. So behind me, obviously, is a bookshelf that has my books on it. So if we have guests coming, for example, I just had my parents-in-law and brother-in-law over, so our really nice mural frame that has my work playing was paused because it's a interplay. It's got different travel shots, different stuff from my portfolio, but also my nude stuff and some erotic work on there. So I actually don't mind for my parents-in-law to see that kind of thing, but not on Mother's Day. We don't need that conversation starter about my career. Um, I have the intention of, and God, now I'm saying it. I realize I've been in this house now for 5 months and I haven't done it. Um, we were originally planning this room wouldn't be my office. It was going to be a sitting room and a little bit of a gallery. But we're now thinking we've got a long hallway leading down into the house that would be a great place to put a bunch of frame prints. Um, it's just for us and to make the house feel more homely. I feel the difference between a house and a really nice lived-in adult home is artwork, or in Steph's case, a bed frame and a fitted sheet.
Yeah.
But we've never really done that, and I do want to do it, but it's nothing to do with generating clients or showing off to friends that visit, anything like that. It's just why not have my favorite shots up? Why not? And because I'm looking to do more gallery work and selling prints. So, it would be an opportunity I could hang the test prints I do before doing the limited edition runs. Looks like we have a few other questions coming in here. We'll throw this to Steph. What is a good, effective way to relay a specific theme, like in this case, cinematic, as an idea onto screen? Some themes seem to be really challenging. It's kind of a
Um,
broad, difficult question, but what's your
yeah.
suggestion? Maybe a better way to frame the question that you might be able to answer is, if you have a particular goal for a creative work, what's your suggested workflow to get to that point?
Um, Research. I think the first step is always like research, looking at other examples just to get an idea. I think in terms of like this week's theme of cinematic, I would say like we all have seen movies before, and if you were to just pause during a movie, like I think picking out a scene that actually has some sort of a story, I think that would actually help. And I'm surprised because like I mean, you could have gone a really simple route of like, hey, there's already like set shots for filmmaking. It's like there's a wide shot, there's like an over the shoulder, there's a close up, like using those as a reference if you had done like research and just understanding like movie making.
Mm,
I think it just seeing like a shot from like an over the shoulder, I would have probably immediately been like, yeah, that's cinematic just for the
mm,
sole fact that that's a frame that we've all seen time and time again because that's just how they shoot dialogue.
yeah,
So
nice. That's great
research.
feedback. So, uh, research is the great summary for it, but so then apply that to different themes. If you're like, okay, Matt's next theme is cinematic. My favorite film is this. Let me just go back and watch it. And then what's a really cool frame? And what Steph is pointing out is right. That's a great example. That's not a hard shot to shoot. You don't need a whole location and everything. It could just be, the nunchuck shot over the woman's shoulder with another person standing there or whatever, two
Yeah,
people conversing, whatever, that definitely would convey the message clearly. So next week, our one is fitness. If you know a fit friend or you have an idea, then go and search out a bunch of great fitness images and get inspired by them. How do they light it? Why do they tend to light it that way? What are the kind of the hallmarks of the genre, and then use that as your inspiration. And then for any creative project, as you're going through and figuring out, should we do it at this or that time, or this or that location, or this or that person, or this or that lighting, always come back to what is your final goal and let that answer those questions for you so that you're always pushing towards the right kind of an outcome. Um, and, you know, think about it that you're trying to push yourself creatively to create new work for yourself. Not that you're trying to win some downloads from me. Obviously, that's not the prize here. The prize is working through all of these problems that you didn't know how to solve, solving them, and then adding that kind of expertise to your photography game. Um, Sean Vine asks, Steph, have you used drones in any of your movies? He's sorry he hasn't watched all of them yet.
we have actually a couple of times. I honestly hate flying the drone. It is so stressful. I had to fly the drone at this like it's the Reading Pagoda in like Reading, PA. It looks super nice.
That was the
but it was
opening scene
so
of
yeah,
the
it was the
last
opening
movie I saw.
scene for
Auntie.
Yes Auntie, our feature. That was so stressful. At one point, I was like, okay, I'm looking at it. I'm like flying it away. It starts beeping, and then I'm just like, okay, I look up. I don't see it. And I'm like,
Oh, I hate
oh
that.
shit. I was like, crap, how do we.
Scheisenheimer.
It's our only drone, and we needed this shot. It's the opening shot of our movie. So yeah, it was. I have so much anxiety when I have to use the drone, and I really hate using it. Trees are terrible. I've crashed it already
So next time
twice.
I come up, Steph, I do want some establishing
No.
shots of Lower Manhattan. If you could just help me out with that whilst I get the lights set up, that'd be great. Thanks. Thanks. Love you. Thanks.
Hell no. Power lines, trees, and buildings.
Oh, fun story. So a viewer commented on mine that they lost a drone. I think in Mongolia, they said backlit power lines, couldn't see them. It hit them. We've been there. I have this shot, and I still have the footage. I should have included in that one. Maybe in a future drone video, I'll do it. I was flying in Bhutan by a shack that I thought was empty. It was in the middle of a field, some yaks and whatnot around, epic countryside. And then the door flung open, and somebody ran out with a broom. I guess they were probably, I feel bad now, freaking out because they hadn't, what the hell is this alien ship outside my house? And so I pulled back and up to try and get away. And then I just saw the footage go, but then I managed to get it back and fly it home. And I thought maybe they had actually whacked it. But then on the playback, I found as I pulled back and out, I hit their clothesline. And in doing that, it broke both, like the two pieces of one of the props off, did a complete 360, but then the other three props took the load and I was able to fly it back. Amazing.
What?
Yeah, they redistribute the weight to like because as it flew back, it was slightly off level, but it was still like smooth. I was
Oh
able
my
to use that
god.
footage as I flew back to myself. So I
That's
apologize
crazy.
to that person who probably still tells their neighbors about the time aliens visited, and I'll be more careful in future. Two more questions here, and then let's get back and finish off these entries. Alex Walker, have you thought of having Casey from Camera Conspiracies back on? I really like Casey as a guy. I haven't seen, like, I don't watch that much of anyone's content. Now that I have an editor again, I don't watch that much of my own. So I don't really know what he's up to. I had him on the ones. I really enjoyed it. I believe he did too. We screwed around. A lot of people seem to think that we didn't like each other because we were teasing, or that, like, I didn't like him because I was teasing my guest. Maybe I went with his jokey, you know, took it too far. I don't know, but I would love to have him on again. The only thing is, and no disrespect to Casey, he's what he is, and he's a vlogger and a comedian and whatnot. He's not really a photographer, so having him on to judge the last time, it's nice to have a different opinion, but it's not like he's a photo expert. Steph arguably maybe isn't a photo expert either, but she's a model expert and a production expert, and she's been on more photo shoots than probably any of us. So she has that expertise, whether or not it's, picking the correct camera setting to get a particular effect. But yeah, when I get back to the States, and there's no reason with internet as it is, and I'm talking to Steph in Philly or wherever she is right now, there's no reason for me to get back there, but I am hoping to do some collabs once I get back to the States. So, send in your last questions. I don't know how many photos we have, but we're up to Thomas, so we can't have too many more, and we will get to them, unless that was actually the last shot already. Was it? I think it was.
Actually, we skipped a couple.
Really?
At least the folder that you gave me, I think we're missing like we didn't do three of them.
Okay, so I'm looking at the wide shot of what I imported, and I think we did them all. What names are you missing?
Carson Larson, Kevin Stuke, and Max May.
Huh. I dragged the whole folder in. I wonder, have I got any kind of filter on that might have? Oh, I did too. I had it filtered by zero or something. God, guys, I'm really sorry. So, um, I missed. We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. So, Carsten Larson, cinematic look. Sorry, guys. Apologize. Nothing personal. I'm just somewhat incompetent, but luckily we have Steph here to save the day. Um,
Gotcha, guys.
so, talk to us about this Star Trek shot.
Star Trek. I love Star Trek. No, I think that the scene and everything, I think it works really well. I think the I don't know, the colors seem a little flat to me. I'm not really sure. Like it just all blends in too
I think
well. I
that
don't know how to
actually,
explain it.
I actually think that works. That's why they wear these outfits. It is kind of a camo, right? The only thing I'd say, this is the composition is not cinematic at all. Like, unless, it was the start of what's going to be a pan out shot, that's not how
Yeah.
things get composed so centrally. So this is the ratio of, widescreen cinema. And I actually think a cool shot here would be right in over her shoulder, you know, but the shot before she looks out to look at the whole desert that she's about to confront. There, to me, is well, I would probably bring it down to get her belt and just keep the ponytail or the bun, whatever it is. But for me, I think that works even better. You could, of course, bring it in to have more of her if you want, but keeping her to one side, I think, is going to be a much stronger shot than having her right in the center of frame. What do you guys think in the chat? But I dig it, and I think the fact that you found a landscape that matches so well with her color palette, I
Yeah.
think, is what makes it. So, um, to not to
The
discredit
costume's
Steph's
awesome.
point of view. So there you go. I missed you, but you're flagged, Carsten. You've been flagged. And Kevin Stook. Steph, tell us about
Um,
Stook.
I kind of like it. I think if this was framed landscape, this could have been start of something. I feel like you could have gone like a creepy route because like everything's dead and it's just snowy. What's the show I was watching? Something Blind Manor or something. It kind of like gets that type of feel for me.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I feel like there's something here. I can't quite put my finger on it though.
okay. Now let's see. Paul Bivens just said his didn't make the cut, so did we miss him as well? Oh
I
no, yeah, so we actually missed four. So there's Max May and then Paul. So there you go. So yes, we did miss yours, Paul, but we're going to
oh,
get to it next.
sorry.
Max May. Yeah, this is super cinematic. I want to know the story behind this.
Yeah.
Although, unless this is like, well, he's just been shot, so that makes sense why the camera angle is so off like that. Um, but yeah, what do you think, Steph? You guys shoot action?
I love action. Um, I'd
Actually,
say
you talk about action, and I'll be right back. I need to go to the loo.
okay. Reminder, just yeah, move the camera if you can. Okay. I like this. Okay. I need to tell Matt that I would like to give this a pick because I love action. We shoot action stuff. I know it's expensive, just getting all that gear. It'll be cool if there was like more debris kind of like in the air, but I do like the little smoke effects on the ground. You could just take the seed from like pretty much any like action movie, I think. So yeah. Uh, yeah, anyways, what's up everybody? Now it's just me. You guys are stuck with me. How's everyone doing? If you guys want to join my Discord channel, I'll put it in the server in the chat. Uh, we talk about movies. We talk about like you guys could share your photos on there too. give my critiques, and actually everybody has a discussion about the the photos. It's fun. Actually, usually, Alex, since you mentioned the Dutch angle, I am not a fan of Dutch angled shots because I think cinematically that means that there's something off, there's something wrong that's going on with like the story or the film. So usually it's kind of used in a creepy vibe, or there's this like just something really off-putting just to kind of make people feel uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, that's why you never see Dutch angles on my projects with art school dropouts. And yeah, that's, I mean, we do it once in a while, but not all the time. And is Matt back?
Sorry about that.
And
Perfect timing. Sorry, too much coffee
but
this morning.
oh, I wanted to give this one a pick.
Excellent. And I agree with everything Steph just said, although I did take my headphones out because I didn't think you'd want to hear me tinkling. Okay, and
Thank you.
then
I appreciate
Paul,
it.
well, I meant you and everyone. Um, to Paul, I apologize that we missed you and the other three guys. There was nothing personal, obviously. Okay, so next time, Paul, if you have it, please send a higher res one. But in this case, I included it anyway, despite being low res. Um, I'm trying. I'm guessing this is someone else's movie frame or film frame, and then you've added yourself into it and kind of feathered yourself or this guy into the shot. Uh, it's quite cool, but the cutout on the person is a bit rough. And to me, it doesn't really blend the two of them. The goal for this kind of thing is to have it look like it was all done by the same light source. And to me, this looks quite differently lit, but I do think it's quite cool nonetheless. So now that you're in the chat, please tell us who's the character and how'd you put it together. And one other thing,
Yeah.
just a little thing, as a I still think of myself as an indie. I get that aspect of things, but I don't think the sweatpants work with this outfit.
I was just about to comment on the sweatpants. I was gonna say I appreciate the sweatpants because they're comfortable, but I don't think it works in this particular shot. Um, unless you framed it higher so you don't see the sweatpants. But I think if you're already going to do a composite, I think getting a frame like where people are actually running in the opposite direction and you're kind of there, you're like already shooting at whoever is, let's say it's Godzilla, since we talked about Godzilla earlier, because you can tell everybody's just kind of casual going along their day watching a movie. Or wait, actually that's adults only, so wherever
Oh,
they're going to. um yeah.
cool. Nice, nice, nice. Yes, one. Pretty sure it's a composite and nicely done to put the composite into the mirror as well. But
Oh
again,
yeah.
just the key to good composites or good photoshopping in general is your selection. I think the selection could have been done a little bit more perfectly on this one. Um, I don't think selections actually need to be perfect, but when you're having it against a black background like that, if you've got kind of white edges, they really jump out. So we will jump back and answer any last questions you have. So please send them in. But first, let's now take a look at our picky picks and choose a winner or two. And you guys will be getting a copy of the Kill Bill themed art nude body paint photo shoot, which is now going to go live to all of the pre-orders in 45 minutes. So don't miss out. Although there will be a launch sale, the price will be a little bit higher than the pre-order. I'll clarify that after we choose our winners. So there's some strong ones here. Did you want to choose one? Your one favorite, Stephanie? Me?
Hmm.
Stephanie?
Okay.
I guess I should reset their crops because a couple of them have my crop on them now, and we should be looking at their entries.
I feel like picking a winner gets harder every week. uh okay.
Okay. Tell
Oh,
us,
there's
Steph, what do
really
you
good ones.
guys let
Okay.
us know in the chat? What's your choice of winner? Where we won't read it, but let us know. We'll still choose our favorites. Go,
Okay.
Stephanie. I said
I'm gonna
last
go
time
with
I shouldn't let you go first because then you always choose the best one and then I'm stuck. No, but you choose yours.
well, I'm stuck between two
No,
or three.
well,
So
so am
okay.
I, and so there's a
I'll give you
couple
my
that I
one.
would love. Yep,
Yeah, okay. Max My May, the
the
action one.
the military one, excellent.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to give two because I can. So it's going to be Max My congratulations. Then I'm going to give Giles for this one. That's going to give Steph nightmares. And then again, Thanos, but it's a kind of you're an also winner, but you already got the Kill Bill prize last week, so congratulations on another cool shot. But this is kind of a notable mention one. So we'll say our two prize winners are Giles and Max Mai. Congratulations. Thank you for entering. Everyone, everyone, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you. Good job,
Okay,
guys.
so just to be clear for those who aren't aware, across it, there's no mystery to the way I do the courses over at Art Nude Portraiture. Just so if you want to get the best price or know the timing, there's no kind of, I'm not running a scam or anything like that. And I genuinely do end the sales and put them full price. We generally put them up as a pre order for like a week or so. Um, and that's the best price. That's the best price as by itself I expect it will ever be put at. Then when it launches, it bumps up a little bit in price, and then that goes for a week or however long, and there'll be a countdown timer on the page. And once the launch sale is finished, it goes to full price, and that's where it stays. Some point in the future, months or whatever later, there may be a sale, but generally the pre-order price is going to be the best that we put it at, and it's always over half price off. So at the moment, the Kill Bill one is 55% off, and that ends in 43 minutes. Um, and Marcialano just bought it, so congrats, thank you. I hope you really love it.
Yay. You
Um,
like it?
and that was so long ago that we filmed that one. It's actually
Yeah.
so pathetic how my life is at the moment, sitting in this office all the time working. I was rewatching the edits of it. I'm like, oh, it's so fun hanging out with Steph. Wait, that was like a freaking year ago. God, I miss hanging out with Steph. Oh, and then Jonathan and me and you cracking jokes and saying inappropriate things, and like every
Oh
10 minutes,
yeah.
that has to be cut. No, cut that out. You can't leave that in the video. Um, yeah, I
Yeah,
love
we
my
need
set
to
time.
be better with that so that way it's easier when it
No, it's
comes
fine.
to
It's fine.
like
It's fine.
editing.
Jonathan does the edits, so it's fine. He can work his way through that.
Okay.
Yeah. Reminder, folks, the next week's theme is fitness. So you can, of course, interpret that broadly. You could go for something that's not terribly fit, like people eating McDonald's, or workout shots, or actual sporting shots. But the theme is going to be fitness. And you can find the details for that over at mattgranger.com/live. I think we are pretty much done then.
Yep.
Thanks, Steph. My best to Timmy. Give Lucky a rub for me. And if you're
Thank
available,
you.
I'll see you next week. And everyone else, happy Mother's Day. Hope you're able to give Mum a call. And that's what I'm about to go do now. So, actually, I'm going to get the Kill Bill all ready to hit publish in 40 minutes, and then we'll be doing the family time. So, thanks, Sean. Thanks, Marcialano, Ben, Jerry, Dalton, Brad, and of course, Juan. Send me a text, Juan. Let's chat after the show. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Bye, Steph.
Bye. Bye guys.
Thanks, Yobo.